The narrative for Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers coming out of Rodgers' sit-down interview with Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee Show on Thursday was Rodgers doesn't want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or Rodgers wants to retire. Well, I'm kind of going against the grain here, guys, where I actually believe, and my takeaway from that interview was that Aaron Rodgers actually wants to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he likely will play for the Pittsburgh Steelers as their starting quarterback in 2025. And I think that interview actually gave us a lot more clarity than people are claiming in the media today. So stay tuned for why I believe Rodgers hasn't signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers and why I truly believe he will sign with this football team to be their starting quarterback in 2025. I put out a video yesterday breaking down my 8 takeaways from the interview, a bunch of quotes from Rodgers in that video, breaking down everything that he said and my takeaways from his quotes. So make sure you guys check out that video after today's show. If you haven't already, that's what the thumbnail looks like. And make sure you click that subscribe button to join the Steelers Talk family today. We have been the fastest growing Steelers YouTube channel anywhere on this platform for multiple years at this point, and that's because we give you guys free, in-depth Steelers coverage every single day. So if you guys want that daily Steelers news break every single day right here on YouTube, click that subscribe button to never miss a video. So first here, let's see what kind of the media response was to this interview, because I was a little bit surprised of the negativity that we got from a lot of people, especially from the people on ESPN. There's a trio of people on ESPN's Get Up that were just absolutely fed up with the whole situation this morning when breaking down this interview. Mike Greenberg, the host of Get Up, said whatever the other plan is, it's better than this. This does not look like to me like a person who wants to invest absolutely everything into what we're about to do here in Pittsburgh. Dan Graziano, also from ESPN, said if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, it gives me reservations. I would think about pulling back my offer. And then Mike Tannenbaum, the biggest clown show in the entire world here, says that did not sound like a person that was prepared to be a starting NFL quarterback and the rigors of a 17-game season, which is fine. It's over. If I'm the Steelers, it is over. We are moving on. And then even people outside of ESPN, people like Josina Anderson, posted this on her X today. Steelers, find yourself another plan. Like, seriously, draft a quarterback, call the Falcons, call Tom Brady, whatever. Do something else. So I'm not going to read that entire thing there, guys, but there's a lot of people in the media that are very negative towards that interview that Rodgers had on the McAfee Show. And I just asked myself the question, did we even listen to the same conversation? They're saying things like, oh, Rodgers doesn't want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He doesn't think the Steelers are a good opportunity. Well, let's take Rodgers at his own word here. This is the exact quote on the Steelers coaching staff that Rodgers said to McAfee yesterday. Mike Tomlin's more than I even thought from afar as far as the type of person he is. I have a lot of respect for what he has accomplished in the league. Arthur Smith, love him. I mean, talk about a guy that doesn't need the work, but he is a grinder. We've had a friendship for a couple of years now, and I just like what he's all about. So glowing report for the Steelers coaching staff. Then when it came to his throwing session with DK Metcalf, he says, I wanted to see how I felt to throw with DK and how the juices felt and how the ball came out and just all those little things. And also just get to know DK. He's just a really respectful dude and an absolute specimen. Why would he want to get to know DK Metcalf and throw with him to see how it felt if he had no interest in playing for the Steelers, right? And then even McAfee himself, right after Rodgers left the show, he said, it sounds like Rodgers, if he wants to play, it's going to be for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He even said during the interview with Rodgers, hey, man, you're talking really glowingly about the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Why not just sign with them? And then he gave his explanation, and we'll get into that explanation here in just one moment. But I think it's pretty simple here, guys. The media hates Rodgers, and Rodgers hates the media, all right? Rodgers made his feelings on the media very well known in yesterday's interview. He's done it multiple times. He's told multiple reporters to, quote-unquote, lose his number. I mean, he's got very contentious relationships with a lot of people in the media, and, of course, the media doesn't like that very much, all right, because he is somebody that is very critical of that entire institution. And I think what people are missing when it comes to this interview, guys, is that I think people are getting so caught up in the fact that Rodgers didn't make an official announcement as to what he was going to do in 2025, that they completely ignored the other things that he was saying and the reasons why that he has not made an official decision in terms of his future heading into the 2025 season. So coming up here on Steelers Talk, I will explain why Aaron Rodgers hasn't signed. He cited personal issues, but what does that really mean? I'm going to be breaking it down here in just one moment. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time. And the NBA playoffs are getting started. If you want to experience the energy and stakes of playoff basketball, you can get great seats at guaranteed low prices with our friends at Game Time today. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, and you can save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and even for hard-to-get playoff seats for the NBA playoffs. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. The Cleveland Cavaliers have locked up the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference this year heading into the postseason, and you can experience their playoff run in the weeks to come just over a 2-hour drive from Pittsburgh. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen. That's CHATSPORTS, one word, all caps for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So here was Rodgers' explanation for why he hasn't decided, why he hasn't signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers as of yet. I have off-the-field stuff that requires my attention. I have personal commitments I've made, not knowing what my future was going to look like after last year, that are important to me. I have a couple of people in my inner circle who are really battling some difficult stuff. The stuff I'm dealing with off the field in my inner circle, that has to take my attention right now. I wasn't stringing anyone along. I wasn't holding anyone hostage. I was honest from the jump about where I was mentally and some of the constraints that I have in my life right now that warrant my attention. I don't mean any disrespect to any player on the Steelers, veteran or young guy that comes in. I'm just going through a lot in my personal life that has to take precedent at this point because that is a big commitment. When a commitment is made, it has to be an all-in type of commitment. I've been upfront with the Steelers about this and said, listen, if you need to move on, if you need to do something, by all means. Nothing but love and respect if that's the decision that needs to be made. But there's been no deadline, and I've talked to Mike T many times. So listen, man, I think that this is a perfectly reasonable explanation. Now, I think that the question that a lot of people have on their mind is, well, what kind of personal issues are we talking about here? Are we talking about, I'm having a fight with my girlfriend, or are we talking about something a little bit more serious? And, I think that because it's Aaron Rodgers, people kind of just assume, it's really not that serious or time-consuming or anything like that, something that would prevent you from making a commitment to a new football team. But did you know many people who are very close to Rodgers, who is from California, and is from kind of like, he's in that area, lost their entire livelihoods, including loved ones. Like they lost people that they loved in the California wildfires that happened very, very recently. And it's pretty darn sure here, guys, that what he's talking about, and even though he's not citing it specifically, it's pretty much a 100% certainty that he's helping people that are his friends and are his family members and loved ones in his life help rebuild their lives after losing their homes, after losing loved ones in the fires, all these different things. And this is actually what Rodgers said after the fires happened in California, after the season was over. Friends of mine have lost houses. A number of friends in the Palisades have lost their homes. A number of friends in Pasadena were affected. Friends around Runyon Canyon. It's been a tough time for sure. Then he said this specifically about the offseason right after the season was over. I told the Jets I'm going to take some time. So there you go. He's taking some time here. But this is a time when I'm taking time for my body and my mind to clear things. Obviously, it's different because all that's going on in LA. So what it sounds like, guys, is Rodgers is helping his friends rebuild their lives. And, I'm sure that especially the people that lost loved ones in these fires, they're dealing with a certain type of anguish and pain that, it's very, very difficult for them right now. And Rodgers feels like he owes it to them, and he made a commitment to them to help rebuild their lives and to really comfort them in their time of sorrow. And, I know that it's months after the fires, guys, but they're definitely still feeling those effects. So the work is still being done, obviously, because he has not squared those things away. But, I think that this is a perfectly understandable thing where if he made a commitment to his friends and the people that are closest to him to help rebuild their lives, he certainly has the financial means to help these people out and to help them emotionally through this really difficult time in their life, then, that's where his focus is at this point, and that is perfectly reasonable and understandable at this point. If you think that's not, then honestly, I think you need to check yourself a little bit, all right? Also, the other part of this is that Mike Tomlin is also getting updates from Rodgers pretty much every single week, most likely. He's talked about how he's had conversations with Mike Tomlin throughout this process, and Tomlin certainly seems like he knows what's going on too, based on the things that he told the media at the NFL owners meetings in Palm Beach just a couple of weeks ago. And it seems like he really knows what's going on. It seems like Rodgers has let him know what the situation is and how long it's going to take for him to make that decision. And it sounds like that decision, when he eventually comes to it, sounds like he does want to play, and it sounds like he does want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, he was talking time and time and time again about how much he wants to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into 2025. And, well, he didn't say it directly, but he did say how Mike Tomlin exceeded his expectations, how he's good friends with Arthur Smith and he's a grinder. Talked about how DK Metcalf was a specimen. I mean, you don't say those things if you don't want to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025, or at least you're not seriously considering it. And then there's also the fact that he hasn't straight up told the Steelers, hey, man, I don't want to play this year, or I'm going to retire, or I don't want to play for you guys specifically. All right, so the Steelers obviously feel good that Rodgers, based on his timeline and everything that he's told them about this entire situation, that he will eventually decide to play, and he will eventually decide to play for them. But also, if that doesn't happen, and he did say retirement is still on the table, it's still a possibility. In that scenario, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers would have no issue trading for either Kirk Cousins or Derek Carr, that is if Carr's made available, because those are two guys that are experienced veteran quarterbacks, and, especially, and I think both of these guys fit what the Steelers want to do offensively. So from the Steelers' perspective, they don't have to rush this, all right? If Rodgers decides to come on, great. But if not, and he decides to retire and he gives them a decision, then it's like, okay, we can shift our focus to trading for Kirk Cousins, which wouldn't be that expensive. And then same thing goes for Derek Carr. That is if he's made available via trade before the end of the offseason. So that's where the Steelers are at right now, or at least that's where I think that they're at right now. But where are you at? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. What is the percent chance that Aaron Rodgers is starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 1? Put it on a scale of 0, meaning no chance, to 100, meaning he's definitely going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback. Right now, I'd put it at around an 80-85% chance. It sounds like he wants to play. It sounds like he wants to play for the Steelers, and I think that's what's going to happen at the end of the day. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Really hope you found this video informative, guys. We're going to have more Steelers content coming your way as we continue our coverage in preparation for the start of the 2025 NFL Draft. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already for more content. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers.